I ain't the sharpest tool in the shed.
What is going on, everyone? Parsnip here, and as you can tell from the title of this video, we're gonna go ahead and start a new playthrough. This time it's gonna be an adventure map. So guys, sit back, relax, and let's get started. So on this episode, which is of course the first episode, I'm gonna go ahead and keep things simple and start working on the starting zone. Now before I get too much into this, let me go ahead and talk about why. So the reason why I'm making an adventure map and not a single build is because something that I found pretty interesting was that on the last episode, a lot of people were commenting how they really enjoyed the biome build on the main base, as well as when I made the cave, like that little dwarven section, as well as the garden. Which makes sense considering over 20 hours on a single build might get pretty boring for a lot of you guys. So the plan with this adventure map is to go ahead and make something that when you guys do download the world, you can go ahead and make a full playthrough. You could do every single boss, everything like you normally would on a Terraria game, except with a much cooler world with caves filled with traps, like how the Sky Islands. I find those incredibly boring as they are right now, so I plan to go ahead and spiff them off, make them into something that would actually be fun to explore and discover, instead of just going up there once with a gravity potion and then just getting the item on the chest and then never again going up there. Pretty much the only purpose they have is for those chests, as well as some fishing on the Sky Lakes, but very few people actually make any use of them. Therefore, there are a lot of things that I can go ahead and make so that it would be, well, just cooler to explore and to maybe make a base in. Something like a Sky Dragon's temple or some holy church up in the sky, something of the sort. And with that being said, I do plan to make a bunch of random buildings and things for you guys to discover while you play. You might be in the underground jungle and find some sort of abandoned ancient temple, or you might go to the edge of the map and near the ocean there's a huge pirate ship for you guys to explore, get loot, and so on. So like I was saying, on this beginning zone, I'm gonna go ahead and keep things simple. It's just gonna be the intro towards the world pretty much. So when you spawn, you're gonna have this awesome looking place where you can decide or not to make your base here, or you could just go right ahead and explore, which I'm gonna go ahead in a bit and make a cave down below. Now the only difference from this world to other world is that I will be making some caves with traps with loot. So some things may be worth it, others will not. However, you guys will never see the loot that's in the chest until you download the game. So that's something that I do plan to keep a surprise as well. So you might be thinking, well, if we go in a cave and we see you build the traps, won't we know exactly where the traps are? Won't it be easy to avoid? But worry not, guys, since this build will be incredibly long. You're probably only going to download this world months from now, so you have nothing to worry about. I myself won't remember the traps a week from now, so you guys, the viewer who didn't build this, will probably not even remember 90% of these traps easily 3 or 4 months from now, or even longer depending how long this Let's Build goes on. So like I said before, this is going to be where I make the first cave and trap. Now this is a pretty hardcore cave for beginner players. So this world isn't elite, so all the mobs are indeed harder. However, the trap that I put here is the flamethrower, so without gear or anything of the sort, you're going to have a rough time. Now that being said, it won't be impossible, just a lot harder. You can go around, you can destroy the player sensors, which is what I used to activate the trap, meaning it's not like a button that you could just destroy right away. You have to dig and find it and so on. There was actually a lot of planning towards this trap, the first cave. It's not quite complete yet, however, it's pretty much the main things that I wanted on it is indeed done. All the traps and stuff like that on this episode is complete. So like I was saying before, I would like you guys to leave a ton of suggestions. Next episode, I'll probably go ahead and start working on an actual build and not just terraforming like I did here. What I do plan is to make buildings, and then in between those buildings, once I finish, like say I make a pirate ship on 2 episodes, On the next episode, I might go ahead and make a cave with some traps, or I go ahead and make a biome, and then on the next episode I do some detailing work on the world, just so that it's not boring in the same theme. So here I continue to make this little sky blocks around the place, just so that it looks cool. It doesn't serve much except aesthetics. You could go ahead and make a bunch of small houses here for NPCs and things like that. It's a pretty cool little area to spawn in, and so on. So like I was saying, I do plan a lot out on this first cave, and I do plan to do things like this in the future, where I make it not impossible to complete, but especially for beginner players it's going to be a little bit more difficult. So I did say that you can dig around the place, however I am going to fill a couple of spots with lava so that it makes it harder for a player to just go ahead all around the entire build and go right directly into the loot after looking at the video. So that's why you guys are seeing me put lava all around here quite early on, just so that if you dig straight down you run into lava. I will be adding some more type of mechanisms and things like that, so that it's harder for you guys to just dig straight into the cave and skip the fun parts. You'll notice that I also use the temple blocks, which you can't mine for a chest here. So make sure that when you do complete the pickaxe from the temple, that you come back here and get the loot. That it should be worth it. I'm gonna try to make the loot in the chest worth it for the difficulty or how you can obtain it. Now you'll notice that I actually died to that trap, and that's a trap that is, well, not impossible to get by, but consider this, guys. I'm using vortex armor, full life, with accessories and things like that. So you can imagine that if I myself died on those traps, a player without any gear and just started off, if they get hit by lava or that fire trap, they'll probably die pretty fast. So the idea is to find ways to go around. So let's go ahead and talk about the blocks I use. For traps, I'm pretty much sticking to player sensors and 5-second actuators, which you guys will see here. I also go ahead and make some lava spots, some the flamethrower that you guys saw before, as well as some geysers and the skeleton spawner. So when you do get near the treasure chest, which will be right here, a bunch of skeletons will start to fall from the top. And these are pretty hard skeletons, again, for beginners. I also go ahead and put some cobwebs around the place, just so that it slows you down and you don't just rush through everything. And I go ahead and lastly add some details. I will be coming back here and adding some more. Again, like I said, I do add a bunch of lava just so that you guys can't just dig straight down without any difficulties and reach the treasure chest. I will be adding a little bit more lava because I do know that there are quite a lot of ways to go in through here without having to worry about, well, being hit by lava itself. But yeah, guys, so the blocks that I do use here for the cave is pretty much the same blocks that you will normally find in caves. So that's dirt, clay, stone, and I go ahead and put some details with wood, wooden beams, rope, and cobwebs. You'll notice that the background has some gray stone, and that's with actuators. So if you guys do break that with pickaxes, it's just gray stone. You have to remove the actuators later on if you want those. So that's pretty much the main section of the cave complete. I go ahead back up to the surface and start working again on aesthetics. Up here in the surface, I go ahead and use a lot more blocks. You'll notice that I use a lot of water, waterfall blocks. I go ahead and use dirt, grass seeds, living wood, living leaf blocks, pretty much, with the leaf wand and the living wood wands. I mess around a lot with the backgrounds and things like that in cave. You'll notice a couple of details such as lanterns and some accessories like some fire blocks and books and things like that. You'll notice that I have a lot of blocks here that you normally can't obtain early on. However, these blocks are mainly aesthetic, and unless you want to decorate your house, these don't serve much of a purpose on upgrading gear and things like that. So you guys should still have the same experience. And before I forget, I do make this world an expert world or elite world, however, whatever it's called, pretty much. So it will be a lot difficult for newer players. So if you are new, super sorry guys, but I did want this to be an elite world since you will have access to more resources and more chests and things like that that normally you would have to grind for through days and stuff. But yeah guys, so back to the blocks. I go ahead and use emerald gem spark wall blocks, which is the green glowing blocks that you guys can see in the background. I use a bunch of different types of walls, especially grass ones. It's grass, jungle grass, and living grass walls. Some stone walls, some wood walls, and the rest is pretty much details, as you guys can see here. You notice that I make some trees myself, which I thought looked pretty cool. I go ahead and add some light sources with the living fire, as well as some lanterns and things like that. And guys, that's pretty much it for this build. Again, thank you all so very much for watching. Like always, again, don't forget to leave suggestions in the comment section below. If you have any ideas or anything you want to share or things that I can improve, make sure to leave them in the comment section below. I will be picking one of your guys' build or ideas from this video and the last video of my previous Let's Build to go ahead and start building on my episode 2 of this Let's Build. So guys, thank you all for watching again, and as always, I'll catch you guys next time.